Okay, so we're going to start in the Furniture Guild price list, and then we'll look at the Home Furniture Guild Bath price list. So in the price list, it's going to start out showing you, on page 2, it's going to show you all the different options, the features, so on and so forth, and then that kind of information there. But then we get to some new items that we launched this year. So polished chrome, it replaced our polished stainless steel. We went with the polished chrome instead of the polished stainless. We added some new countertops. We have added inlay options, like some cabinets come with an inlay option is a standard. So if you see it in the price list as being in that group, there's no upcharge for the inlays, but you can do inlays on any series now. And then we added some more metal options, linen towers, new category of finishes, a lot of new stuff, as you can see here, and then some new designs that we brought out this year. So Lydia, for example, Lydia comes in the price included with the inlay in it. Same with the Henley, it's priced into it. But if I wanted to take the Hannah and put an inlay, I can do that, and that'll be in the price list. So decorative hardware, these are the decorative hardware options that we have available, and this pull right here blows me away. This pull list price is either $600 or $700 depending on the group it's in. So group 1 is the least expensive, group 2 is the most expensive. And I never would have thought we would be able to sell a pull for $700, but we sell them all the time. It's our #1 selling pull. It's different. We actually, the bar part of this pull, we purchased that, but the inside part of this pull, the inlay, the same with this pull and these two pulls, we actually make those in the factory. So we have a whole metal welding shop, as you see from all of the different metal vanities that we do. So we actually make this pull, and so that's one of the reasons it's not inexpensive, is the labor that goes into making it. But I am just blown away at how many of these pulls we actually sell. I never would have thought you could sell a $700 pull, but we sell them all the time. Another thing that you can do to any vanity in the Contemporary series, it says available for 400 series, is add this trim around the drawer fronts. I just sold one of these a month ago, and it turned out phenomenal. So again, depending on whether it's group 1 or group 2, it's $500 per panel or $600 per panel. The inlay that I was just talking about, here's how you price that for the standard inlay, okay? And then I'll show you also, we just launched a new inlay. So this is an example of the metal framing around the drawer with the Riva. This is an example of the inlays here. But we also just launched what we call the campaign inlay. So this inlay is a little bit different. The other one is just a metal trim that goes all the way around the drawer front or door. But the campaign has these details, kind of more a little bit industrial kind of vibe look to it. Same with the hardware. So here is an example of with this pull and it being in line. And so you can do it inline, or you can bring the pull into the center of the drawer, and it doesn't change the cost on it. You would just order it in. I believe there's a place here that tells us. Here we go. You add inline to have mounted inline with any inlay. And then if you don't put inline, then we're going to mount it in the center of the drawer. And right now we're reaching back out to make sure that, you know, we are doing this right, since it's such a new product. But this is a cool feature that again it surprises me how many people are interested in this product and pricing it on jobs. You notice here you can do split finishes as well, so if you wanted a black and a brass together, you can do that. It does add 15% to the cost of the product. So those are really hot, and I've done a ton of quotes on it already. Another thing that we did a couple of years ago is, with the metal being such a huge success, but also we realized that it prices a lot of people out of the price point. So what we did is we took all of our wall-hung vanities and created a metal base that could go with them. So for example, here's an Avalon, and it's in white and black with a black metal base. And I can choose any of the bases for an Avalon, for example, that are 14 inches high. So any of them. So this is the one that you see pictured here, but I could use this one. And so you notice that it's different in design. So instead of being a tubular, same size all the way around, here you have something that looks a little bit more like an Alton base, and so it's 1/2 inch by 2 inch brass versus 1 inch by 1 inch. So you can use any of those under an Avalon. So it gives you the ability to give the customer the price that they need. And I've done this a ton of times. Somebody falls in love with an Alton, and it just is not in the investment range that they want to make. So we go and we take an Avalon, which is a 2-drawer, same as an Alton, and we put a metal base underneath it. So this is actually the base that looks like an Alton base, and here it is in a 14-inch. Put that underneath it, and the price point is dramatically different. So it's about, depending on the size of the cabinet, it can be $2,000 to $4,000 roughly difference in price, lower in price. So it's a great option to give the customer an ability to do this. So metal is huge. And this is a new metal base. Again, you could put this is an Alton again here with this metal base and has a shelf underneath it. I think this is going to be huge. We added this recently, so I think that's going to be a good seller as well, as more customers become aware of it. So then we get into some of the other options that we offer, being the glass dividers that you see here. We offer them in 2 colors, the smoked glass and then this gray glass that you see here, depending on if you're doing a walnut upgrade to the drawer or just our standard gray interior drawer. And then you have some other features that you can put inside those glass dividers, the little jars, the makeup pencil tray, felt bottoms, and those come in different sizes depending on the width that you're separating the glass dividers. So you have tons of different options. This is a sliding piece. This will slide from side to side, gives you a little bit more storage here in the drawer. And then we get into lighting options. So you can do interior drawer lighted options. You can do under the cabinet option, as you see here. You can also do lighted options on medicine cabinets, underneath the medicine cabinet, in the medicine cabinet, above the medicine cabinet. So you can do a lot of different things to create a really nice effect. We do a ton of power options. The most popular one is the in-drawer option, but in some cabinets you don't have that capability, so we do have this where it can be mounted just inside the cabinet on the wall and gives them a place to plug in a hairdryer or curling iron. With the power drawer option, it does have a USB port as well, so they can plug in their cell phone and charge it, or Alexa or whatever there that way. And then 2 plug options also. Hair dryer and curling iron holders. So on the ones that have doors on them, you can use the door mount like you see here, or if you want to put it in a drawer with the power option, you see that here. So lots of different internal upgrades that you have available. Again, the walnut drawer upgrade, this is where we take the standard gray metal-sided drawer and convert it to a walnut dovetail wood drawer. We do a lot of these, and you can see it's $300 list price for those. I don't sell a lot of these currently, but they're available if somebody wants them. Hampers, we do a fair amount of those as well. And then there's some exterior options that we see here. Toe kicks, so we can take a cabinet that would just be normally open on the bottom, add a toe kick to give it more of that furniture kind of feel, the kind of cabinet kind of feel. And then we also do the sink risers. So where a sink riser is going to come into play is when the using a stone top and the sink is too deep that it'll hit the top drawer. So sometimes you have to add those risers to be able to get the sink in there so the top drawer functions, so we're not having to change the top drawer. And that will be usually when we're using a standard stone top that's say 2 cm or 3 cm, that's when you may need this riser. So if they're not buying tops from us, that would be a question that we would want to know is what top are they using? So this has to be added in the factory. It's not something that can be added in the field. And then we do some other things like the floating shells, those kind of things that are kind of cool. The finish options, so we have tons of finishes that you will see in our standard offering, but we also offer custom paint options. So typically you're going to see in the price book that a 400, 500, 600 series doesn't offer a paint option as a standard, but it can be done, and it just falls into a custom product at that point. So you would just need to get a quote from us to make sure that we have the proper pricing. Combo finishes are just what they say when we're mixing two finishes together. It's the highest price category plus 10%. You can change door options. So if you wanted a Stephen door on a Lydia cabinet, you can do that, and it just changes. You add 10% to the cost of the cabinet. And then we also offer not only the standard mirror, but an antique mirror. It's a 10% upcharge for those cabinets that come with mirrors. So then we get into countertops, and this is where some people are like, man, what in the world? Whenever I'm looking at these countertops, I got all these numbers down here. This is important just to kind of understand. We actually simplified this year, but it's still a long number that you're putting together, but each of these numbers identify something, obviously. So in the first category, the GS, FS, QT, or ST is going to tell us what countertop it is. So GS signifies that it's a Guildstone cabinet top or countertop, and then FS is Phoenix, QT is quartz, and ST is stone. So that gives us the category that we're in, which top it is, and then the color finish that's available. So when you get into each one, for example, in Guildstone you have two. You have white matte and white gloss. So if we were doing a white matte, we would just put a WM in that second spot. The edge profile, so there's different edge profiles that are available. Again, if you look here, we have in the Guildstone half, 2 inch, and then a 2 inch with the OG edge, and then a 4 inch. Those are the standard countertops that are available. So that's what you're going to put in this spot. And then the width's going to match the vanity. So if we're going back to our example we used in the beginning, it would be a 48 inch. We would put 48 right there. And then do we want it flush or overhang? So flush means it's going to be flush with the end of the cabinet. Overhang is a ½ inch on each side. And so you would just put an F or an O. And then how many holes do we want drilled? Do we want 0 holes? We put a 0. Do we want 2 holes, 3 holes? That's what we put here. And then the sink option. And so the standard is going to be a GSR1. I'll show you that. Or GSR2 is included in the price. I'm sorry, GSR1 or GS01 are included in the price. So you see down here, included in price, included in price. One is square, one is oval. But then if we wanted to upgrade to a different size sink, we could do that as well down here, and we just take the cost of it. So we're going to go back to that 48 inch vanity we did, and this is going to apply for every countertop you're going to work through the same process for everyone. So 48-inch, we're in a Guildstone. We want it to be white matte. We want a 2-inch edge profile. And then we want it flush with the ends. We want 3 holes in it. And we're going to use the standard, well, we'll just upgrade. We'll use the GSR2. So we take this price, white matte. We're going to use the 2.0. So it's $25.45. We come down here, we add $125 to the sink price. That's the list price of the sink. So it's pretty straightforward how it works. It does look a little bit overwhelming, but once you understand what you're spelling out with that order number, it becomes pretty easy. And then if you're doing a compact depth, it'll have that information here as well if you're doing a trough sink. So in our 48-inch cabinet we did, we could add a 48-inch trough in there. We would add $425 to that list price of the countertop above. And then if we wanted to include a drain cover, same thing. In the trough sink, this is a trough sink, so we could add a drain cover, as you see here, to that trough sink. If it was a ramp style sink, then it's already going to have that drain cover included in the price. This is just a different style. And there's one drain underneath the sink, just like would be in here. We can put a drain cover in any of these sinks. You can't do it in the oval sinks, but you can do it in the GSR 1, 2, or 3, as you see here. And if we were doing white matte, we would add $450 to the list price. If we were doing the trough, the 48-inch trough, we would add $600 to the price. So it's pretty easy process to work through there. Same thing applies to the Phoenix. Here we just have 3 options versus 4, but the same process goes through. With Phoenix, however, the drain cover is included in the price, because on Phoenix, the sink that's underneath this drain cover and hidden here is actually a stainless steel sink. So we have to put a drain cover in as a standard for it, or we have a stainless steel sink in the bottom. A lot of times we get asked the question, how do we get that out for cleaning or whatever? We supply a suction cup when we send the vanity. If they ordered one of these tops, a drain cover or the Phoenix, and they just stick the suction cup on it, lift it up, they can clean it out and place it right back in. It has feet on the bottom of it. The 2 on the front are smaller than the 2 on the, I'm sorry, it's backwards. The 2 on the front are bigger than the 2 on the back, so that it creates a ramp, basically, to allow the water to go around the edges, and then also any water that would be left sitting on the actual drain cover will be sloped back to the back so that it drains properly. And then,
hey David, excuse me. Before you move on from Phoenix, we explain to them what Phoenix is actually, like the.
Yeah, I can explain it here. Let me explain it in a minute, because I want to do it when I get to the finishes, so that it's not just the countertops. So I will come back to that. Yes. So here, quartz countertops, same thing applies. How we get to the thing, we do have 3 sizes here, a 1.2, a 2.0, and a 4.0. This comes included with the Roxy or the Lotus sink. It does tell you here, this is important, not compatible with 400-600 series with functional drawer under the sink. So for example, if it was a Winston, it would work, because a Winston doesn't have a functioning top drawer. If you wanted a Riva, for example, 3 drawers, and you wanted that oval sink, then we would have to make that top drawer non-functioning. But we can come over here to the Roxy, and it works fine with the Riva. Requires a 2.0 minimum edge. So again, we couldn't make it work with a 1.2, but we can make it work with 2 and 4. And just so you know, 2.0 is our most common. It's probably 90% of our sales. It's just kind of the standard that everybody goes to. So it tells you here in this information, fully compatible here, and also that it requires a 2.0 here. So same in stone, same thing applies, one finish. I'm gonna stop. No, I'm gonna keep going. Fire clay, So fire clay, 3 sizes, I told you, all integrated, one design, one finish. So if you have somebody they love an Alton, for example, they just love it, but when you add the gilts on top and they added the scoop sink or the square sink, and that's $2,600 added on top of, say, a $8,000 vanity. It's just, now it's too much for their investment range. You can come down to a fireplace sink and you can see the prices here: $595, $695, $795. Again, 3 sizes, but if it fits into that vanity room or powder room size of 24, 30, or 36, then this is an option to get them into the vanity, but with a different countertop. Okay, and then undermount sinks. You can buy undermount sinks separate, and I just had this yesterday. Somebody's doing a different top. They sent me a sink and said, "Hey, can we use this sink with that vanity?" The sink they had picked was 8.5 inches deep. It will not work for the top drawer to be functional. So what I recommended to them, and I recommend to everyone, is if you're not using tops from us, I recommend you use our sinks, because we already know, based on that, it's a 2.0 minimum edge with a 2 cm or 3 cm material to work with these vanities. It's fully compatible with these vanities, or we would know if you needed a build up on the drawer. So sell these sinks. They're great designs. They meet most of what we do. Roxy is the most popular, and for $225, yeah, you can buy a sink for $80 to $100. Sure, you can, but then they've got other issues that they got to overcome. So when we're talking about a furniture built vanity that's an average price range of $4,000 or $5,000 retail, a $225 retail sink is not a big deal. So try to sell these sinks if they're not buying a countertop from us, just so we eliminate any issues moving forward.